Hello, I am Mariano Gutierrez Alarcón and welcome to the 12th Man Academy, the show that asks the questions we believe the fans want to know about football. Joining me for this series is well-known and passionate manager Gus Poyet and our voice of the fans, long-suffering supporter Stephen Brown. Together, we will get inside the pitch and hope to answer your doubts about managing at the top end of the game, while we get the inside track of being a top-level football manager. In each episode, we get a better understanding of the thoughts, the decision-making, and the philosophies of a top-level coach, from picking a club captain to tactics and team identity as we connect the fans to the manager. In this series, we reference to past events as we use examples that were happening in the football world at the time we recorded this podcast. In this episode, we discuss, can managers play in their own team and country identity?
It's just interesting from that point from players. If we were talking about Guardiola as a player, Simeone as a player, Conte as a player, and then obviously yourself as a player. You talked about, I knew 4-4-2 and that's how I started. But
my one is it's true what you're saying. It's very true. Yeah, Conte was that type of player. I mean, if you look, Guardiola is able to play in his team 100% because he will play number 6 and he will control the game. Cholo Simeone will play in his team 100%. I'm not so sure about Conte in that system that he's playing. We should discuss his position of Conte in a 5 the back and 2 or 3 up front. I don't know where to find it, but me, I don't know. I would like to think that I will enjoy playing, but we play more like it's one of the 2 offensive midfielders, the one getting responsibility and getting in the box. I play like that in Zaragoza a little bit, so I will have a clear responsibility of being a player from the midfield and need to arrive in the box all the time, for sure. That would be my role.
Identity of each. Then Conte was, for me, I can't say I followed him great Juve, but saw him in Champions League. He was a worker. His team's work. Yeah. That's the what I'm saying, the identity. And I see that your identity is not in the same way, but the passion in your game and just, the difference between you and Conte is the skill levels, but
my teams, football teams, they need to represent me, yes, in terms of the passion. And that's something that we normally achieve because at the end, the ones they give me that they play. That was important. Now, international level, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But it's a good point that because there is not too many coaches that they can say, I will be able to play in this team, in my team, like the way we play. It should be like that because that's what you believe. But when we go to identity, the word identity is too much.
You might evolve as well. So you if you keep playing
because you understand the game. That's a good point. No, Mariano, you made a great point. When you're a player, you analyze a lot everything that happens around you. It's very, very rare to see a player that analyzes the whole game. When I was playing, for example, Tottenham, I was playing behind the strikers. I was not really paying attention to what Tarico was doing on the left, or what his responsibilities were, or the sweeper. I started learning that towards the end of my career, or paying attention, sorry. Maybe that time I was paying attention already. I tried to go earlier in my career and, when I started playing Euro, I was thinking about my role. You listen to the rest, but your role. Now, when you're a coach, you go everything. So you start learning things as a coach. I want to say, if I knew that, I will do that. I think it would be great if the players, they start getting coaching things earlier, no doubt, 100%. I know it's not usual, but it would be great. And if they go even the chance to train a little.
So it's identity as well is just from what you were saying with the international football, is a country's characteristics. I think your countries are very good examples.
Exactly. Yeah. Listen, the last game, we changed manager in November. We won 2 games with a new manager. And the key game, it was against Peru. We went back to Uruguay in the 1990s. We won it 1-0 somehow. Don't ask how, because we don't know. Imagine the fans. It was just about winning, getting in the World Cup. And that's it. And that's a way of playing. And I agree with you. And the Germans, they got it. And now the Spanish with the way they play, and the French now with the quantity of players they're bringing. Or is the other way, which I like, and I think it's a great, great project, like England done with the DNA, with St. George's, and they created something from below. Belgium done even longer. Belgium started, I think, in 2002, creating something in the long term, and now they are number 1 in the world in FIFA ranking. And France, people doesn't know this, but maybe Mariano knows. France go academies all over the France distributed where they train in a certain way to then bring it to Clairefontaine. So there is another way. So that's also a way of understanding football. And I think it's possible. Of course, the organization is tough. The financial, it needs to be there. It has to be a country. It's not just a federation. It has to be the country behind this. But I think it's a nice way. The problem is a little bit longer. No, you need to start thinking that the under 15, they're going to start doing something that maybe in 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, they're going to be able to do in the main national team.
And how are you able to work around that in Greece? Are you be able to? Is that just time again? We talk about
yes.
Time
Me. I'm, at the moment, what I'm doing is I'm trying to pick, which we call in Spanish selección nacional, which is the national selection. Select the players that I believe they can give me what I want or closer. It was very, very important these first 7, 8 days because I know the player and the person. I know how he trains and I know how he reacts in the game. I know when I play from the beginning, what he gave me. You know a little bit everything about the player. Then there is another 10 that for different reasons they didn't come this time, that they got a great chance, that I don't know them. So when I start the proper competition, which is the Nation League, I'm going to have them for a week. So I don't know how they're going to react away in Belfast against Northern Ireland. I don't. And people think, no, they are professional. No, we are all different. There is players that play very well at home. I was listening today, the Brazilian striker of Man City, Jorge Jesus. He scored like 4 or 5 times against Liverpool, always at home. Is it a coincidence? Only score at home, never score at Anfield. But there is situations that happen like that for a reason. Because your team play in a different way, because they play a little bit higher, because you find yourself more comfortable. The other day, Saturday, I think there were 6 Premier League games, and I think that there were like 4 or 5 away wins. Only Everton won at home. What is going on? Before, Steve, it was beautiful to play at home. Now the teams, they feel a little bit of pressure playing at home, and they kind of relax playing away from home. Less responsibility to attack, so they go more freedom. Football changes, and there is moments. And for that, you need to know the players. And if you don't know them, so I need to be very good picking. And that is new for me. So I'm learning. I'm really learning.
Well, I'm definitely intrigued about this, how it works to be an international coach.
Well, but you cover that now.
Well, there's so much to learn, Mariano. Come on.
No, it's listen, it's interesting because I make an example as well international, Steve, which people doesn't know, and it will be great. They know, not because I want them to listen to us, but they understand. I got the job and I started working on a Monday with half of the team, even more than half. They played the day before, and they didn't play in Athens. One play in England, Forest, Simicas, we play with Liverpool a cup game. Another one playing in Portugal. They play different ways, and they arrive on the day. And in the evening, we done a little session with the players they play, I warm down. And when the players they didn't play, the day before they play on Friday, we done a little bit more. Then on Tuesday, which is 2 days after they play, you have to be very careful. We done an in-between session, like a little bit more than we normally they will do at the club. A little bit more, because we didn't have time. And then Wednesday was the biggest day of my time in Greece as a coach. That was the day I needed to prepare the game for Friday, because next day we were traveling to Romania. We were training at the stadium when they're watching you. You cannot show too much. And then we were playing. So that day was key. And we done 2 short sessions, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. We didn't do one long one. We cut it. And then we played Romania, and we played very well. And then you need to go to sleep. We went to sleep like at midnight because the game was late over there, and we had the dinner, and it was great. Wake up next morning, watch the game, analyze it, so you can analyze it with the players. Train with the rest that didn't play, so a little bit warm down, right? Then travel to Montenegro the same day. They arrive in Montenegro and show them what we analyze. And then you have 1 day to prepare Montenegro, because we have one training session in Montenegro Stadium where you cannot show them too much because they're watching you. And just convince the players that you're going to play in a certain way, and show them a video and show in Montenegro and play. If we were already 2 years there, it would be a little bit easier, because the players, they know what you want. Now 2 short training sessions on Wednesday for the players to be able to understand the minimum basics that you want from your game is tough. That's something that now when I get the player for the Nation League, we play the 2nd in Belfast, the 5th in Kosovo, the 8th at home, and the 12th at home. So in between the games, there is no time. It's not like I can change, like you say, the system, or I can change this game when I press high, this one we're going to drop. It's like you need to find the basics and believe in that and convince the players and hope that we're going to have a good game. So it's a lot of connection with the players.
Is it fair probably to do as a manager that use the game as training session?
These one friendlies, yes. The ones in 2nd of June, no chance, because it's Nation League and the result is good. I tell you one thing is true, and I said it before the game, and I said it after the game, because I didn't want to look like, we're going to train. I said, first, I'm going to see if when we train, the players, they can do it, but I want to win. I'm not playing the game like I don't care about the result. No. For example, the last game that we lost 1-0 against Montenegro, I finished the game without right back. My winger was playing right back, and I played with 3 strikers, and that was a plan B, yes, Steven? That was like, because we were in the other half all the time, because Montenegro said, okay, we're going to defend the result, when you say close the game down. So we were in that half, so it was not needed to have too many people behind the ball. So we were there. Maybe we deserved to score a goal, maybe. I'm not saying 100%, but that was the idea. So it's not like I was thinking, no, let's keep playing, let's keep passing the ball. No, the idea was to get a result.
Thank you for joining us. We hope we gave you a better understanding about how to create a team's identity at the 12 Man Academy. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to the series, leave a winning review or a 5-star rating on the platform you're listening on. And do not forget to check our website at www.12asintheword-man-academy.com and let us know what would you like to know. If you would like to sponsor this podcast, please email us to sponsors@the12manacademy.com. See you next time at the 12 Man Academy.